No face reveals today, but a simple hello to A. Joe Woo 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 A. Joe Woo 123. And hello to everybody. Hello to Chew. Hello to our puzzle room. Audrey, Calvin, Pretirement Days, Shonda, Adam's Car Closet, and everybody. There is, I believe, there is power and significance and importance in saying hello, right? So that's going to be one of the things I'm going to talk about today. Let's see. Hello to Todd. Hello to Nicole. Hello to Aries World, who is not just any Aries World, but he is Aries World 9125. But y'all aren't a number to me, so I don't put all the numbers, but I know that they have a reason for doing that. But maybe sometimes you felt like a number. Have you ever felt like a number? That kind of ties into what I want to talk about today as well. Yeah, I hope the choir thing goes good for you there, Aries World. I think Jeff is singing. Um, so I was reading the last chapter of Romans, and I've shared this before. I think on one of my walks, and today I'm not walking. I'm just sitting still. But I'm gonna read it, and it's Romans, the book of Romans, the last chapter. Easy to remember. Just go to the book of Romans. Go to the last chapter. There's 16 chapters in Romans. This is the last chapter of the book of Romans. God used the Apostle Paul to write down the book of Romans. So Paul wrote to the church at Rome, and he wrote a lot of great stuff in the book of Romans. Um, but today I just was thinking about the power of saying hello, the power of acknowledging people. And I want you to count or count, join with me. I may not count, I'm just going to read it. But sometimes y'all ever hear name dropping? People will name drop, right? And and I think there's good and bad name dropping. I think it all boils down to the motive of why you're dropping different people's names. But man, in this last chapter of Romans, Paul is like letting all kind of names drop. He's calling all kind of people, but he's what he's doing. He's just saying hello. So I'm just talking about the importance of just acknowledging people. And want to acknowledge Miss Bell. Happy Sunday. And if I don't acknowledge you in this live stream, I do apologize. It's not intentional because that would be like very hypocritical of me to talk about acknowledging people and then not acknowledge you. So if I do that today, I do apologize in advance. It's not my intent to um, not acknowledge anybody. But in the last book of Romans, last chapter of Romans, and see, I didn't see that the sports car ripping teacher was here, but I seen Todd acknowledge the sports car ripping teacher. So thank you, Todd, and hello to the sports car ripping teacher. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the Cubs won today or not, but I see where he says that Alex Bregman hit his first two home runs, and that's about it for the game. So I don't know if that means they didn't win. Um, but I'm glad that the Astros lost their first two games, and I was like, oh man, not a great start, but at least they've won their last two, so they're 2-2 now. They're only half a game behind the Texas Rangers. So, but yeah, I hope Alex Bregman has a good season for the Cubs, and I hope the Cubs have a good season, unless they're playing the Astros. And as I write out your long name, sports card ripping teacher, I always want to say sports cards with plural cards, but it's sports card ripping teacher. Okay, so here's what I don't understand, sports card ripping teacher. I've seen people rip cards before, like take cards literally and rip them in half, throw them away. I've never done that, um, and I've never seen you do that. So why do you call it sports card ripping? Because you don't rip cards, do you? I know, you rip the packs. I got to get back to my subject. Quit being silly. But I appreciate you stopping by. I appreciate everybody that stopped by. In Romans chapter 16, listen to all these names. Every time I start to read, somebody comes in, but that's a good problem to have because I appreciate it when people come in. Back to back sports cards and things. But hello to Aaron. Happy Sunday. Aloha Sunday. Um, just definitely want to acknowledge everybody because that's what I'm fixing to be talking about, the importance of acknowledging people. Romans chapter 16. I'm just going to read it. If you want to follow along, it's Romans chapter 16. You just want to listen. You can listen, but listen to the times that Paul says hello to somebody or he greets somebody. It says he greets, or another word he says is salutes. But I love all these times he's acknowledging these different people. It says, I commend unto you Phoebe, our sister, which is a servant of the church, which is at Centria. So he's going to mention one name, Phoebe, that ye receive her in the Lord as becometh saints, and ye assist her in whatsoever business she hath need of you, for she hath been a succorer means helper, of many, and of also myself also. Greet Priscilla, that's two, and Aquila, my helpers in Christ, that's three. Three people he's already acknowledged in three verses, who have for my life, Paul says, laid down their own necks, unto whom not only I give thanks, but also all the churches of Corinth. Likewise, greet the church that is in their house. Salute my well beloved Epaphras, 4, who is the first fruits of Achaia unto Christ. Greet Mary, 5, who bestowed much labor on us. Salute Andronicus, 6, and Junias, 7, my kinsmen, and my fellow prisoners who are of note among the apostles who also were in Christ before me. Greet Amplius, 8, my beloved in the Lord. Salute Urbane, 9, our helper in Christ, and Stachys, 10, my beloved. Salute Apelles, 11, approved in Christ. Salute them which are of Aristobulus's household. I think that's 12. I'm losing count here. Salute Herodian, 13, my kinsmen. Greet them that be of the household of Narcissus, 14, which are in the Lord. Salute Tryphena, 15, and Tryphosa, 16, who labor in the Lord. Salute the beloved Persis, 17, which laboreth much in the Lord. Salute Rufus, 18, chosen in the Lord, and his mother and mine. I'm going to quit counting, but you're getting the point. He's calling out all these names and families and churches. And salute Asyncritus, Phlegon, Hermas, Petrobus, Hermes, and the brethren which are with them. Salute Philogus and Julia and Nereus and his sister and Olympus and all the saints which are with them. Salute one another with a holy kiss. The churches of Christ salute you. Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions. Uh-oh. Mark them which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them. For they that are such serve not our Lord Jesus Christ, but their own belly, and by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple. For your obedience is come abroad unto all men. I'm glad therefore on your behalf, but yet I would have you wise unto them which is good, and simple concerning evil. And the God of peace shall bruise Satan under your feet shortly. The grace of our Lord Jesus Christ be with you. Amen. Timotheus, my fellow, and Lucius, and Jason, and Sosipater, my kinsmen, salute you. I, Tertius, who wrote this epistle, salute you in the Lord. Gaius, my host, and of the whole church, saluteth you. I mean, he just keeps using that word, salute, 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 salute. Erastus, the chamberlain of the city, saluteth you, and Quartus, a brother. The grace of our Lord Jesus Christ be with you all. Amen. Now to him that is of power to establish you according to my gospel and the preaching of Jesus Christ, according to the revelation of the mystery, which was kept secret since the world began, but now is made manifest, and by the scriptures of the prophets, according to the commandment of the everlasting God, made known to all nations for the obedience of faith. To God only wise be glory through Jesus Christ forever. Amen. That was a mouthful. And the chat is moving. Um, Hello to Adventure America. I don't think I said hello, but I did now. Yeah, I understand your name, teacher. I'm sorry. I was just being silly. Um, but be careful as you drive there. Hello to Lisa. Travel with Lisa H. No, travel with Lisa MH. I got to get it right. Can't misspell people's names, although I've done it. Confession is good for the soul. People misspell my name all the time, even if I have it twice. But hello to Lisa. I hope you're doing well today. Hello to Adventure America and Chew in our puzzle room, and Audra and Calvin and Retirement Days, and Chanda and Adam and Ajo, War, Todd, Nicole, Aries World, Miss Bill, Sports Car Ripping Teacher, Sports Cards and Things, Adventure America, and Travel with Lisa MH. Adam says, I think I just seen Lisa on MPP. Yeah, that's probably where I met Lisa, is through MPP. But acknowledge people. Um, I'm not. Y'all might not. I don't know if you've kind of figured me out or not. I mean, I am. Talking, but I'm not the most talkative person. But a lot of times we don't. You don't have to have like a humongous conversation with somebody. Sometimes just a simple hello's enough. But at least at the minimum, the bare minimum, the importance of just acknowledging somebody and saying hello. Um, and from there, I want to. I know he isn't in here, but Robert, the commenting collector. Some of y'all know him, if not all of you. But I really enjoy watching Robert's channel, the commenting collector. Well, he done a video and he had showed some postcards on his video, and he said like the first person that would say something about it could get the postcard. So I said something and he gave me the postcards. But so I'm going to show these postcards he sent me, and I may show some more from my dad's collection. But I got to thinking about postcards. Like today, with YouTube is like the modern postcard. People don't too much send out postcards anymore. You like one way of communication is through YouTube. But I know there's so many other ways. But I was just thinking about back in the day. Like this is a 1909. Actually, it was preparing for 1909 because it says New Year greetings, but the actual stamp on the back says December the 29th, Yeah, December the 29th, 1908. But all a postcard is one person saying hello to another person. I mean, I know there's a lot of reasons for postcards, but one of the reasons people would say hello, or maybe like Lisa's a travel channel, her name's in the title, but like sometimes people would travel, go on vacation, and they'd be in one city and they'd mail a postcard from where they're at to back to home and say hello from fill in the blank. But all they were doing, they were acknowledging somebody and they were letting somebody know where they're at, you know. And I think that's kind of what this YouTube is about: is acknowledging. I'm acknowledging you, you're acknowledging me, and we're also wanting to see where you're at, not necessarily where you're living. I'm talking about where you're at in your life. How are you doing? I hope you're doing great. Can I pray for you? Can I help you? Um, and that's I love. That's one of the things I love about YouTube is the hellos, the greetings, and then also to keep updated on one another and pull for one another and want the best for one another. Um, yeah, that's a cool stamp from Ben Franklin. That's another reason I like postcards. Let's see who came in. Jones Junk. Here comes one of the tongue twister names. I got to get it right. Junk Jones Junk Journals. How did you come up with that name, Joan? How did you come up with your name of Jones Junk Journals and more? How did you arrive at that long name? Um, Jones Junk Journals. Some of y'all's names gonna give me carpal tunnel. I'm just kidding. I love it and more. I get the and more tag to the end because that's kind of what my channel is. It's not you can't just point to one thing. It's an and more. I guess kind of like Aaron sports cards and things. It's etc. um, but hello to Joan um, and happy Sunday. Aaron says I tried to write in cursive yesterday. Had to think about how to write certain letters. Yeah, if you don't use it, you lose it, and that's what I was talking about. I've been trying to share stories in this month of March, retelling stories because if you don't retell stories, they die out. Same way with cursive writing. I don't know if y'all are aware of it, and I know that there are people that are aware of it, but cursive writing's dying, man. Hardly nobody's doing it like they once done. So if you don't keep it alive, it's gonna nobody will know how to do it, and you can apply that to so many different things. Yeah, Jeff, I do the mixture of cursive and regular too. Yeah, I don't even know what a junk journal is either. That's why one of the reason I was inquiring. See, I love the stories behind names. I love to ask. That's one of the things. Like when I meet somebody new and find out what their name is. Like, how did you get that name? I love the history behind a name or the history behind a song. Not only do I like songs, I like the story behind them. Why did that person write what they wrote? In the same way with, how did you get your name? What kind of story is it? Something involving your mom, your dad, your doctor, your nurse. I mean, something happened for you to get your name. It didn't just happen by accident. I love the stories behind slursive. The new is that a new word or is that what they call it? But this is a I haven't looked at the card too much since he gave it to me, but I was just wanting to look it over. This is on the one side, of course. It's 1909 New York, a New Year greetings. So somebody is, this is like a greeting card. You get on the Hallmark aisle. But I know Aries World's already left, but shout out to Aries World because y'all noticed where it's posted at. It was posted in Somerset, Iowa, December 29th, 1908. But let's see. Another reason I like these postcards, I like to look at people's cursive writing or their handwriting, for that time period. The card was made in Germany. Oh, hello to, I got to write our Jurassic Chaos, another interesting YouTube name. Chilo went to pick up food. Well, that's fine as long as you put it down. Are you picking up what? Are you picking up what I put down? See, better end of the deal. Chilo's picking it up, but you get to put it down. No, I'm sure y'all collaborate on that effort. um, but I'm trying to decipher what it says. Maybe y'all can help me. All right, it looks like it says we hope this we hope this will find yourself and family well. We are in, I don't know if y'all can see that good. I'm struggling with what it says. We are in something health. Your cousins. So this is cool. This is a postcard of cousins writing to cousins. You know, family acknowledging family. But this is just somebody simply saying, "I hope you're doing well." And ain't that to me one of the reasons we're on YouTube? I hope we try to keep up with each other, and we hope you're doing well. We hope you're having a good day. We hope you've had a good week. We hope your family's doing well. Um, so I like these old postcards, and it comes with a stamp, of course, which is super cool. I like me some Ben Franklin. So I think he sent me 8 postcards. But once again, shout out to Robert, the commenting collector. Here's one postmarked in East Grand Forks, Minnesota, August the 23rd, 1911, at 4 o'clock. But on 8/27, what is that? What is 8/27? Let's see. August the 27th, 1911. August the 27th, 1911. It says, "Hello, Walter. How are you getting along this rainy days?" Well, I am about. Are you planning on going to any Red Sox games this year, Jeff? And Jeff says maybe one or two. Now's the I can't remember is it in Houston or Boston? The Celtics, the Astros and Red Sox start playing tomorrow. Is it Where's that game going to be at? It's in Houston. So Todd needs to go to the game and give us a broadcast from the. Yeah, I watched. Well, I didn't watch it, but I watched the highlights on my phone of that game, Jeff. And the umpire, he was he was missing a lot of calls, and they was giving him a hard time. I think the manager got ejected. But I like looking where these cars are posted, postmarked at the date, and I love looking at the stamps as well. Oh, was that yesterday? Okay. Well, I guess it was yesterday that guy was having the umpire was making all the bad calls because they were like tapping on their head like a lot of a lot of plays. So that's postcard number two. Bruins are losing 3-0 to the Blue Jackets. You like postcards too, Joan? That's cool. I I don't guess I know that there's got to be a lot of them out there, but I've never I guess seen anybody really show postcards on YouTube. But my dad collected postcards. I never really got into it, but I did like to look at his. I've never. Matter of fact, these are probably the first ones I've ever got that Robert sent to me. That's why I'm sharing them. Here's one from New York. Uh, Another 1 cent stamp, postmarked in New York, April the 6th. It looks like it says 2:30 p.m. I'm not sure the day, the year. All right, Lisa, I appreciate you stopping by, and I hope you have a great Sunday remainder. But check out that guy's signature. That's pretty neat. Up there in the New York, in the Northeast, somewhere in Maine. I can't make it out. Vinyl Haven, maybe? Vinyl Haven, Maine. There's the date. So receipt, April April the 5th, 1881. Wow. So we're almost at April 5th. So 1881, that's like, what, 145 years ago. So this is 145 years old. And April the 5th, 1881, John Lau or Lowe of Venal Haven, Maine, dollar payment, dollar in payment for the delineator from March 1881 to February 1882 inclusive. January and February, debts exhausted. E. Butterick and Company, per A period. I guess that's what that is. Whoever signed it didn't have as good handwriting here. I don't know. Certificate. Send the certificate for patterns, New York. This certificate belongs to John Lau or Lowe. And upon presentation at our office, 555 Broadway, New York, either by letter or in person, entitles the bearer to a selection from our plain patterns to the value of 50 cents at regular prices, but the full amount to be obtained by it must be ordered at one time. This certificate will be destroyed when that order is filled. So I'm guessing the order didn't get filled because I have the ticket. And in no case will further credit be given, therefore. E. Butterick and Company. Yeah, that's one of my least favorite thing about autographs these days. You know, on the like if people get insert cards with an autograph on it, most of the time it's just somebody's initials, and that like hurts my heart. I mean, be thankful for the name that your mom and daddy gave you, and your last name as well. That's I guess that's another way of you not as I'm talking about acknowledging people. When you sign your name, you're acknowledging your family that gave you that name, right? But if you put your initials, you're like it's like disrespecting to me your family, where you came from. Ty says, when you were a kid, did you practice your signature? Yeah, um, for sure. And from looking at other people's notebooks, like in school, I think most everybody did. Most everybody, you go through their little notebook, you're gonna find like at least one page where they sign their name like 30 times. Yeah, I like what you just said, D. That you used to hate your. I mean, I don't like that you used to hate your name, but you've had a change. That's cool because you realize that it's unique, and all names are. That's why I was saying, it's kind of a shame that when people put their initials. Here's one from 1896, somewhere in Iowa. The postmark somewhere in Iowa, and the signature down below says somewhere in Iowa as well. Sometimes people will ask this. I guess I'll put this question out there for y'all. Sometimes people will ask the question, if you could have anybody's autograph, who would it be? And past or present, that's a good question. Who would be the first person's autograph that you would try to get, past or present? And one of the first ones that I always, and I'd love to have John Hancock's autograph. Would that not be cool? But this looks like a fun name to say in Iowa. Ochydian, maybe? Ochyedi, or something like Ochydian. But it was dated uh, November the 18th, 1896. I love that these are from like the late 1800s, early 1900s. John. But I can't make out what a lot of these say. Um, yours just glad you. Whenever I'm reading these, I sound like Tarzan. Tarzan with broken up English. You, Jane, me, Tarzan. Oh, Yeah, Abraham Lincoln would be a cool autograph, and Elvis as well. I want it so I want it to commence next Monday morning without fail. Yours truly, Joe Smith. This one's written kind of small. Teacher just got home in time for dinner. Everyone have a good evening. Well, you too as well, a sports car ripping teacher. And do you still teach? Does your school still teach cursive writing? Inquiring Mind wants to know. I remember a Joe Smith. Well, Joe Smith is probably one of the most common names there is, so you can probably have a hard time with that one. But there was a basketball player named Joe Smith, I remember. This is dated June the 2nd, 1912. It says, Dear Sister Gracie, I think it I think it's nearly time that you were writing a little. I haven't heard from you for a long time. See, that's sweet, ain't it? As I'm talking about acknowledging people, somebody's missing somebody else, so they wrote them a letter and say, "I'm missing you." And I think about the people, since I've been on YouTube for a couple years, people that have passed away, and you miss them because you get to know them. I haven't heard from you for a long time. We are touring, traveling maybe to Brainerd. We'll be there Thursday. Your bro Harry maybe. Hello to Fran. Um, just to make a long story short, Fran, and for those that just came in, just trying to acknowledge everybody. Hello, happy Sunday, because there is power in acknowledging people, and I think it's important to acknowledge people. And along that lines, I was showing some postcards that somebody recently gave me, and I'm appreciative of. But to me, a postcard is just one person saying hello to another. A lot of that's what that is. And it's cool to look back in time. Here's another one from Iowa. This is Spencer, Iowa, December the 30th. It looks like it says 1890. And I really can't make none of that out. It's definitely cursive writing. But they didn't have autocorrect back in the day. Yeah, I think they're really cool, Troy. Um, I mean, they would have even more meaning if I knew who the people were, but still, I just like the thought of one person saying hello to another. And like this one. I like the art on some of them too. But this one just says, "We'll be home soon." And I can't make out like the postmark or none of that on that one. But this person lives somewhere in Minnesota. but I like looking at the stamps. But you know, I can I can almost sometimes feel the emotions of people in this. You know, like this one. Each moment seems an hour to me until again your face I see. You know, sometimes postcards are just saying I miss you. You know, I've been gone for a while for different reasons. You know, but still acknowledging a person, acknowledging that you miss them. But this one's from Minneapolis, Minnesota, June the 14th, 8:30 a.m., 1916. But I can't really make out a lot of that. Somebody wrote real light up here and then real dark down here. But those are the 8 postcards that Robert, the commenting collector, gave to me, and I thought they're super cool. I got them from Robert, the commenting collector. He has showed them, and like he's put out a couple of videos since then, but like 2 videos ago he had showed them in the video, and he mentioned in the video the first person that said they wanted them could have them, and I was the first person. But my dad, like I said, I never got into them, but my dad collected them too. Um, and I was looking at some of his as well. I like looking at the stamps, like I said, and the where it's postmarked from. Um, let's see. Like this one is a cool stamp, 50th anniversary U.S. Airmail Service, but it's postmarked May the 15th, 1968, Washington, D.C. Pittsburgh, July 4th, 1968. New York, New York, 1956. Indianapolis, Indiana, October 28th, 1932. But did y'all know there was a Kokomo, Indiana? I know the Kokomo, you know, the Beach Boys sung about, but I think they were talking about somewhere down in Florida. But I don't guess I knew about Kokomo, Indiana. Bermuda, Bahama, come on, pretty mama. Grandma Moses, 6-cent United States postage stamp, postmarked Washington, May 1969. There's Abraham Lincoln. But this was postmarked Springfield, Illinois, November 19th, 1962. Oh, I love this name. Have y'all ever been to Sandwich, Sandwich, Illinois? Now I'm hungry. But it was postmarked Milwaukee, Wisconsin in 1935. There's a picture of Tropical California, postmarked in Los Angeles, California. Albuquerque, New Mexico. I've been there before. But notice where this one's postmarked. That's pretty cool. Little America, Antarctica, January the 30th, 1935. So somebody mailed a letter from Antarctica to New Mexico. What a route. There's Syracuse, New York. Y'all know I'm an Auburn fan, probably. There's Auburn, but this Auburn's in New York. There's a Buffalo, New York. Here's somewhere in your neck of the woods, Jeff. Northampton, maybe? Massachusetts. But it's postmarked Washington, D.C. Yeah, I'm not familiar with Little America. That was new to me. But shout out to my Texas friends. There's the postmark from Blue Ridge, Texas, June the 20th, 1984. Medal of Honor. Audie Murphy. Dwight Eisenhower. Denison, Texas, October 14th, 1984. Sacagawea. This was postmarked in Laramie. I remember that was the name of a western, Laramie. Laramie, Wyoming, 1994. Then there's Steven Spielberg and E.T. Phone Home. But it was postmarked in Titusville, Florida, in the year 2000. Troy collects paper currency and coins. That's cool, Troy. One of the greatest baseball players of all time, Babe Ruth. Shout out to the sports car ripping teacher who was here earlier. It's postmarked in Chicago, Illinois. But that's a cool Babe Ruth stamp, 32-cent stamp. But I love these first. Like I said, I didn't get big into it. My dad was, and I like these first day issues because it actually gets stamped on the day that the stamp came out. So this Babe Ruth stamp came out May the 28th, 1998. There's a Henry Fonda. Where's this postmark? It's covered up. Yeah, I love watching E.T. E.T. as well. All right, let me hear y'all's best E.T. impersonation. I know I can't hear y'all, but I would love to hear your E.T. impersonation, your impression of E.T. E.T. phone home. Be good. Dick Tracy. This was postmarked in Boca Raton, Florida, 1995, but there's the Dick Tracy stamp. Charles Lindbergh, another Chicago, Illinois postmark. Yeah, if they ever do a ET remake, look out for the cell phone. Jackie Robinson. This was postmarked at Dobbins Air Force Base in Georgia. That's pretty cool. 1999, February 19th, 1999, the Jackie Robinson stamp came out. Another Babe Ruth and the Babe Ruth stamp. American illustrator Norman Rockwell. This was postmarked New York, New York, February 1st, 2001. There's Ronald Reagan, who loved his jelly beans. I think I talked about that in a live stream a couple of times ago. But Ronald Reagan had one of my favorite quotes of all time. Speaking of saying hello and talking and communicating to each other, he said, Ronald Reagan once said, if people talk to each other as much as we talked about each other, the world would be a better place. And I agree with that. The importance of communication, not talking bad about people. We shouldn't talk bad about people. I mean, we all have things we don't like about people. I have things I don't even like about myself, but it's not good to talk about people, but it's good to talk to people and try to, if you disagree, try to, you know, work it out. And if you can't work it out, instead of talking about the person, talk to God about that person instead of talking about that person to somebody else, Just pray for reconciliation, pray for peace. But I love that quote. Yeah, we definitely can work it out. It's possible. But I love that. It's got a little signature. It's not a real signature, but facsimile signature of Ronald Reagan. But it was postmarked in Simi Valley, California, 2005. My dad really loved big band music. There's Glenn Miller, who was a big band leader. And Postmarked September the 11th in New York, 1996. There's the stamp. Let me hear your Alfred Hitchcock impression. Just look at the guy. I mean, he's all right. Here's mine. Good evening. Dun, 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 dun. But postmarked Los Angeles, California. He's always got that look. He's got that certain look about him, you know. But I love that he's got the bird on him. I haven't had to write anything down lately, so thank you, Jerry, for breaking that streak I had going of writing down names. Been a while since somebody walked in. But hello to Jerry. I call. Jerry, I call. South Texas home. And that's a cool name. There's no place like home. But shout out to Jerry. Basically, the cliff notes of what I've talked about for the last hour, Jerry, is just the importance of saying hello to people, just acknowledging people. Nobody's invisible, nor should nobody get treated invisible. Let's see. There's Walt Disney, who created hundreds of animated characters, won an Oscar for Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in 1938. But this was postmarked in Cleveland, Ohio, 1998. And there's a Snow White stamp. Marilyn Monroe. Let's see, this was postmarked Universal City, California. And Lucille Ball, postmarked Los Angeles, California. And I like on the backs it tells their stories, some of their story too. But I won't read all that. But you probably already knew this, but the girl who became the legendary Marilyn Monroe was Norma Jean Baker. That was her name, Norma Jean Baker. Let's see. Dee loved the Snow White stamp. So she'll probably like the Sleeping Beauty as well. But this is postmarked in Anaheim, California, August the 7th. There's the stamp. That's a cool stamp. And then another good Disney movie, The Jungle Book, postmarked Anaheim. Got a few more names popping in. I got to write down Chilo. Chilo, not just any Chilo, but Chilo 2K. And Jim NFL. Hope y'all are doing well. I didn't mean to rhyme, but I did. Jim NFL doing well. But happy Sunday and hello to y'all. Appreciate you stopping by. Just been showing what I've been doing, summarizing what I've been doing for the past hour, just showing some postcards, because postcards to me is like an ongoing thing where a person in one location is saying hello to another person in another location. And I think that's super cool. You know, the technology of the past. Somebody saying hello to somebody else in two different spots, kind of like what we do it today in YouTube. So I figured I'd show some. Steamboat Willie. A lot of these are postmarked August the 7th, 2008. 101 Dalmatians. I ain't got time to show all these. Bob Hope, one of my favorite comedians of all time, Bob Hope. Man, I love me some Bob Hope. Um, I love that he used to go overseas and tell jokes to the servicemen overseas. I love that about. There's a lot of things I loved about Bob Hope. Just a great guy. Loved his movies. Loved his his comedy. I loved when he would like the different football players. I've seen one video where he talked to Bo Jackson, but I really like me some Bob Hope. But this is a first state issue postmarked in San Diego, California. A lot of these are postmarked in California. Somebody says NPP is in the house, so I got to write down. That's another long name that I usually shorten down to NPP, but I'm writing out people's names today. And I usually want to call her National Park singular, but National Parks plural. Princess. But happy Sunday to National Parks Princess. So this is a Cliff Notes version of the past hour that I've been talking about. It's just the importance of saying hello to people. And I think that's what we have here in YouTube is opportunities to just say hello. And that's what postcards to me. I don't know what the original postcard was, how long ago it was. I've been showing some from the 1800s, so I know they're at least from the 1800s. But what is the oldest postcard? I don't know, but I just love the thought of somebody in one place writing somebody a note and saying hello and mailing it. Just I think it's cool. Um, Edgar Allan Poe. This is postmarked in Richmond, Virginia. Is your commentaries messed up again, NPP? I guess mine's like always messed up. It What's weird is like it'll let me like comment on some people's or respond to some people's comments and it won't others. It'll have like a little, what kind of mark is it? It'll have like a little mark on it. I don't know. I can't remember if it's like a blue dot or something. I can't. It ain't coming back to me now. But anyhow, it won't. If it has that little mark on that, it won't let me comment to that person. And it varies who that person is. It's not just one person. But once again, shout out to the sports car ripping teacher that was in here earlier. He's a Green Bay Packers fan, and there is postcard postmarked Green Bay, Wisconsin, September 17th, 1999. Celebrate the century Green Bay Packers, 1960 to 1969. Yeah, I enjoyed that video as well. The collaboration. NPP's very first uh, subscriber, I think it was, and then she met her. That was super cool. All right, shout out to all my Texas friends again. Here is Texas statehood, the sesquicentennial. I can't say it. Sesquicentennial, something like that. 1845 to 1995. But Austin, Texas postmark, June 16th, 1995. So this 32 Texas stamp came out June 16th, 1995. Yeah, that's a lot to say. Sesquicentennial. Oh, I forgot to show the next one. Lou Gehrig, one of my favorite baseball players from years past. I think it was, yeah, MPP had asked when would I like to go back in time and see what team. That would be fun to go back and see Lou Gehrig for the Yankees. That's like one of my favorite sports speeches of all time when he retired. I mean, it's sad, but when he said, "Today I consider myself the luckiest man on the earth." Bob Hope was a partial owner of the Cleveland Indians. I don't guess I knew that. I knew that. Who was it? I think it was Bing Crosby that was part owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers. No, Pittsburgh Pirates. I meant. I want to say it was Bing Crosby, but I could be wrong on that one. But I do know this. Speaking of owners, that I do know that Gene Autry owned the California Angels, Chilo. But there he is. Yeah, Jerry just said it too. Gene Autry's part owner of the Angels. Yeah, I mentioned Bob Hope, the USO. That's one of the reasons I like. I liked him for a lot of reasons, but I like that he was one of those that was willing to go overseas and perform for the soldiers. And since this is my dad's book, uh, I had to show this one. My dad was like the biggest Frank Sinatra fan, so this is cool. Frank Sinatra stamp, first day issue, May the 13th, 2008. Yeah, I have a green VR challenge. Thank you for mentioning it, MPP. If y'all are interested, watch my video a couple of videos ago where I talk about the VR challenge. But the first two VR challenges I've done were for fun. You know, the spam and cranberry sauce mixture for fun, and then the singing, the karaoke's for fun as well. This one's for fun as well, but also it's serious in that March is Cerebral Palsy Awareness Month, and green is like the color for cerebral palsy, and like you can wear green in the month of March to acknowledge, to bring awareness to cerebral palsy. Um, there's been money raised for cerebral palsy, a lot, and there's been a lot of research done and different things for it, but we could always do better. And you know I realize I love everybody, and I always realize I can love people more, but that's like a cause that's near and dear to my heart. And if you're if you're willing to participate, it's like I said, I'm giving away a couple of gift cards, um, but just want to bring awareness to it. Probably most everybody knows a little bit about cerebral palsy, but you can always find out more about it, and you can always find out more ways that you can help out. Whether it might not be financially, but you can contact your local congressman or senator, governor, or mayor, fill in the blank. Because still there's a lot of places in this world, or I know in our country. I've only been out of country once, so I can't speak for the world, but I know a lot of places in our country that still, even to this day, with all the modern technology, still to this day is not handicap accessible. And I think like 50% of the people that have there's like 1 million people in the United States currently that have cerebral palsy, and I think like at least 50% of those million are in a wheelchair. So we take a lot of, for those of us that walk, we probably take a lot of stuff for granted, and but just we want the things to be good for everybody, and so that's, like I said, something near and dear to my heart. Cerebral palsy and awareness of that, knowing more about it so that you can, awareness to me hopefully leads to activity or action, doing something about it. um, so that's why I'm doing this VR. The first two, like I said, I've done for fun, but this one's really more to raise awareness and just to talk about it, and to get people talking more to people in higher up positions that can have the authority to do something about it, to make that change. But it can be short. National Parks Princess, if y'all haven't looked at her video, she done a short video, and you can do that. There's some requirements that you have to meet in the challenge, but they're easy. I mean, it's nothing hard, and basically just show something green, because green, like I said, is the color for cerebral palsy awareness. But that person, sitting in the wheelchair is just as important as I am or you are, and we, through our actions, don't necessarily see it that way. So I'm talking about as a whole, So hopefully, more change can be done to acknowledge everybody that needs help. Um, but I guess that's all the postcards I'll show. I got a bunch more here, but well, here's one for all you dog lovers. I know not a lot of y'all out there are dog lovers. A cool one. Oni, the postal dog. I'm not familiar with Oni, the postal dog, but this is postmarked in Washington, D.C., July the 27th, 2011. But there's a stamp. Sewing machine makes me think of my grandma. Did y'all know there was a sewing machine stamp? It came out June the 29th, 2011. That's cool. I got anybody remember what they were doing in 1991? And I so wish you could still buy packs of cards for 25 cents. But 1991, so you got what, 9 plus 26, 35-year-old gum coming up, guys. Put a 1 in the chat if you want me to eat the gum. Put a 2 in the chat if you don't. 1, yes, for eat the gum. 2, no, don't eat the gum. 1991 gum coming up. So we got a no, we got a I'm not sure. Oh, we got a 3-way tie so far. Jerry was 17 years old in 1991. So Jerry was born in either 1974 or 1975. That's 1.5. But y'all know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for Astros cards. I'm also looking for a Chipper Jones rookie card. I'm looking for Wade Boggs. My favorite card in this whole set is the Wade Boggs card because it's got clouds in the background. The gum is broken, guys. I don't know if I'm going to eat it or not. Troy was 13 in 1991, so that puts Troy born in either 1978 or 1979. But now these cards are from my personal collection. Um, I bought them from a grocery store, and let's see, how long ago has that been? It's probably been probably around 10 years ago, 8 to 10 years ago. I worked with a job that traveled a lot, so I got to travel around to different cities, and so we was working in this one particular city, and I would go into the grocery store and get some groceries or whatever. But in that store, this guy had some old 1991 Topps baseball packs, and I bought all he had for 25 cents a pack. So that's where this come from. But there's a checklist. Notice Jeff, who number 761 is down there at the very bottom. Notice the name, Jeff, 761. Who is that? And what is the significance of this guy? Larry Anderson. There you go. Thank you, Red Sox. There's been a lot of bad trades in the history of Major League Baseball, but that was a pretty bad one. Good for the Astros, um, but Jeff Bagwell, one of my favorite players of all time. If it wasn't for Larry Anderson, he would have never made it to the Astros. All right, so we got a checklist. We got Pascual Perez. We got Rosario Rodriguez. You bought a full set. That's cool. 1990 Bowman. That'd be Bo Jackson's second year. Mike Moore, second year Bowman for the Athletics. Are you an Athletics fan, MPP? I connect Athletics to you. I don't remember if you said you liked the Athletics or not, or San Francisco Giants. This guy is like Calvin the Boston Terriers. He's been playing in the dirt. You can see all the dirt there in front of him, so he needs a bath. See, that's his name. That's a joke. Bath. You don't like the Giants, so I'm going to show this card. So you say the Giants need a bath. But ain't that a cool shot? I love that action shot. You see the catcher ready for the ball. You see the batter swinging through, and you can see down the third baseline. I love that. You see the umpire in the background. I mean, there's a lot going on here that's super cool. Troy started collecting in 1990. That's cool. And speaking of cool, I just used the word cool. Here is Scott Cool Ball, who has a cool name. Lloyd Mosby, Detroit Tigers. Jeff Ennis, New York Mets. He's taking his job too serious. Todd wants to know, will you still be a fan of the Vegas A's NPP? Andy Benes, another California team, San Diego Padres. Anthony Telford, Baltimore Orioles. We're getting to the end of the pack, and I still haven't seen an Astro. Don Zimmer. I don't know why, Jeff, but Pedro Martinez just came to my mind. Well, actually, I do know why he came to my mind. Hello to Sean. Happy Sunday. Hope you're doing well. Um, Man, I done been on an hour and a half. I didn't realize it's been that long. But Sean, the moral of the story or the cliff notes of what I've been talking about is just the importance of acknowledging people, just saying hello. And I showed some postcards because that was to me the technology of the day of people a way to communicate and say hello. If you was in Antarctica and you wanted to talk to somebody in Albuquerque, New Mexico, you could do that. And that shows your want to. Hey, I want to talk to this person. I'm sending it that far. And the same is true with me and you and us on the YouTube world. Is we can from one location to the other we can say hello, and it means a lot. I know I like it when somebody says hello to me, so I want to be that to somebody else, and just the significance of that. Don Zimmer. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. That was wrong. That was that was wrong, Pedro. Um, Terry Pendleton. Uh, he Terry Pendleton actually has a 1985 Donruss card where it says Jeff Pendleton. So error, an error card. It says Jeff Pendleton, but his name is Terry Pendleton. He played with the Braves, but here he's with the St. Louis Cardinals. Getting another Padre, Bruce Hurst. Bring back the Expos, Tom Foley. And last card, and no Astros, man. Bill Schrader. So that was what was the final count on the vote? Did y'all want to? Did y'all want me to eat the? We talked about ET. Y'all remember ET, the movie ET? Y'all remember when ET got sick, and y'all remember how his color changed? You remember how his color changed? Well, that's pretty um, symbolic of this piece of gum because this in the last 35 years, this gum has went through a lot of color change. All right, the Astros are hurting. Why are they hurting? They're on a 2-game win streak. What do you mean they're hurting? I got one more pack to rip. Mad Magazine. Anybody like Mad Magazine? But so shout out to Robert, the commenting collector, who gifted me those postcards that I showed earlier, and shout out to Brandon Jensen. He's the one that gifted me these Mad Magazine cards that I'm fixing to rip. I've only ripped one pack so far. This is going to be my second rip. I think there's 32 packs in the box. I think maybe not that much, but seems like. But there's only 55 cards in the set, and there's 11 cards in a pack. So 5 packs, possibly you could get the whole set. I don't know. It's according to how they did, but I'm gonna see what's up in this thing. And shout out to Jeff. These cards were made in his neck of the woods. But here goes. There's no gum in here, so I think I already got this one. So I'm gonna have to open more than 5 packs to get the full set. Alfred E. Newman for president. But as you can see, this is issue number 153. That rhymed. But this came out September 1972 for 40 cents. You can't buy nothing for 40 cents no more, but imagine a magazine for 40 cents. Yeah, I remember this card. I got it last time because it's got the Castaway on the back. And I talked about Wilson and Tom Hanks. This may be the same exact pack I've already ripped because I got this card too. Shout out to Aries World and the Nebraska Cornhuskers. This is probably my favorite card I've seen so far. Another 40 cents back in October of 72. But I love how he leaves I love how he leaves that one row of the colonel on the that's that's funny. I don't hear y'all laughing, but to me I find that funny. But there's the back. Yeah, yeah, the reason Brandon sent me this whole box, it was super nice of him. And I had mentioned to him how me and my brother, I have memories of me and my brother reading Mad Magazine. So he sent me these whole box of cards, which was really nice of him. And it looks like this is going to be the same exact pack I already ripped. If y'all was on the previous live stream where I ripped them, these are the same exact cards. Chilo has a question. Barry, do you collect graded cards? I collect them, but I have never sent one off to get graded. And most of the ones I actually have that are graded have been where I won from somebody else, like a contest or a giveaway. Um, I think my dad had bought a few, just a few. I don't think I've ever bought one, and I've never sent off to have one graded. My thoughts on it, I don't know. I like to touch them. I like I don't I guess I don't look at them as investments. It's according to how you look at them. I know some people see them as investments, and I just do it for the fun of it, and so I like to hold them. You know, and I don't down anybody that is into the grading thing. Um, but that's just my thoughts. I like to hold the card. Yeah, that one line of corn. And if y'all was here the last time I ripped it, I got this. Remember, I talked about the UPC code. This is the same exact pack I've already ripped. I mean, every one of them I've already seen. Because I talked about the Jack in the Box. Did y'all ever have a Jack in the Box? I think the last one I ever seen of Jack in the Box was had a Spider-Man one, and as you wound it up, it played the Spider-Man theme, and then Spider-Man would pop out of the Jack in the Box. But you see, I love this car. This is one of my favorite cars too, because usually the Jack in the Box scares you, but it looks like the Jack in the Box here is scared of Alfred E. Newman. So I like that. Did y'all hear about Kevin Bacon getting his foot caught in a bear trap, and he had to cut foot loose? Sorry, but this reminded me of that. Um, Chilo wants to know. Let's see, where do you buy your cards? I've pretty much quit buying cards. That kind of goes along with what I was talking about a little bit. Some people, like, the market's messed up. People treat it like gambling now. A lot, not everybody, of course, um, but the prices of stuff is like, I mean, the prices of everything is going up, but the price of like sports cards is, I quit. I still buy occasionally online, like cards maybe, just individual, but I pretty much quit that too. I haven't really bought anything in a while. And when my dad passed, and my brother, I lost a lot of interest in a lot of things. It'll probably come back around. It's like watching sport. I don't hardly even watch sports anymore, and I love sports, but it ain't the same. But over time, it'll probably change. But yeah, I haven't bought anything in a while. But you talking about the Tops cards, Jeff, or the Mad cards? Brandon just gifted me these cards last year. I wasn't going to open the box, but I decided I would, and I'm gonna try to put the set's only 55 cards, so I'm gonna try to put the set together. And if I have packs left over, I might like give away the packs or something. I don't know yet. But as far as the 1991 goes, um, I I bought them from a guy at a grocery store, the Tops, and probably about 10 years ago. But I never opened them for a while. But I recently started to open those as well. No comment. uh, I don't think I've seen this one, or maybe I have. This may be the only new one that's in the pack. This country is out of order. Ain't that right? That's a pretty accurate statement. Somebody says, "Hey Holly," so I guess Holly is in here. Um, Sports cards and things says I had to go watch Elite Eight and now I'm back. What did I miss, Aaron? Keep me updated? What's your crazy finish? I like I said, I don't hardly watch sports anymore. Um, but somebody said hello, Holly, and I can't see Holly, but I see her now. She says good evening, all. Good evening to you. Um, Got to write her name down. Got to spell her name right. Anybody else ever get their names misspelled? Surely we all have. But with the name, Barry, I would say probably, this is just my guesstimation in my lifetime, in the history of me, I would say about 75% of the time people misspell my name and they spell it with an E. Why? I don't know. Because I've never known anybody with the name Berry. First name. I've known people with the last name Berry. That's why D is shortened down to D. That's why I go by DL. That's why I call you NPP. It's hard to misspell NPP. Duke Duke lost. That helps me because I know it maybe it don't. I might have had Duke in my final bracket, but I had Florida, so Florida done messed me up. My bracket's all messed up. I done lost my pen. Hello to Alan. I don't think I ever wrote Sean's name down. Sorry about that, Sean. Unintentional. And Sean's got a new name I had to learn. Sean. I think I said hello to Sean, but I don't think I wrote his name down. Sean's Texas Home Depot. Shout out to Sean and Alan and Kearney's Lounge. Happy Sunday to everybody. Last card of the Mad Pack. Did he? I know we got different age groups here, but does anybody remember the chalkboard in school? Am I the only one that remembers the chalkboard in school? Surely not. But did you ever have to write something on the chalkboard such as this? I will never read Mad in class again. You had to write. What did you have to? It may be too much information, but if you remember NPP, what did you have to write and inquire? I want to visualize this. You as a fill in the blank year old writing on the chalkboard. I will not chew gum in class ever again. Oh, Alan had to clean the erasers. Yeah, you had to go outside and beat them on like the light pole. And y'all, did y'all ever get the chalk? Like inhale the chalk? That was rough. Like if you was beating the eraser on, like I said, the light pole or whatever, and the dust to go up your nose. You talking about allergies and messed up headache and all that good stuff. Clap erasers, yeah. Like big old dust cloud of chalk. I hope y'all don't like frown on this. I hope y'all don't look down on me for saying this, but I have been known back in the day to be that guy that took his fingernails and like went down the chalkboard with it. Sorry if I hurt anybody there, but I did do that. Some confession is good for the soul. The hair on your neck standing up. Sorry for all those that I let down. Sorry to disappoint y'all, but I was that guy. I'm just being honest. I'm being transparent here. Oh, Sean done unsubscribe. See, I should have just kept that to myself. But maybe I'm the guy that, you know, motivated somebody to invent the dry erase chalkboard, the dry erase board, you know. So maybe I should be like getting some royalties. See, y'all are treating me like I actually done it right now, made that sound. I didn't make the sound. I just told y'all about the time years ago. See, y'all are bringing up my past. All right, so I've talked about the importance of saying hello. I'm probably fixing to knock it off here. I know y'all got other things to do, like I do, but I so I wanted to talk about just saying hello to people, and yeah, I know y'all do. You know, I appreciate anytime you said hello to me. It means a lot. Just acknowledging, you know, make you feel like you are visible. You know, that's what everybody wants. I believe you want to be seen. I do too. We're no different. So anytime you say hello, is just acknowledging that we're on the same earth together at the same time, and really, I want the best for you, and that's what I get out of these postcards. Is one person's acknowledging another across the country, across the world. They're saying hello, but not only that, they're saying, "How are you doing?" Whether it be cousin whoever or a friend or whatever, just wanting to know how you're doing because we should want the best for each other. It don't matter who you are, where you are on the face of God's green earth. I should want the best for you, and you should want the best for me. And we ought to keep up with each other on like, how you doing? You know, how can I pray for you, or you know, what can I say to cheer you up, or you know, how can I make your day better? How can I make this world a better place for you? And so that was one of the things, just the power of a hello. Um, what else? Yeah, just I wanted to remind about my ongoing. I think I set a cutoff date on the VR challenge to the 23rd of next month, so there's still 3 weeks or so. Just show me something green, uh, and do a little research on cerebral palsy. Learn something about cerebral palsy that you didn't already know, or if you know somebody that has cerebral palsy, talk to them and remind them that they're loved. You know, and there's just a lot we can do, but that's another thing I want to talk about. And I wanted to read one more book from my youth, Amazing But True Sports Stories. And the reason I've been reading these, all right, so I haven't read this book since I was a kid. And, but when we read stories of old from long ago, what we're doing, we're keeping the stories alive. You know, if you don't use it, you lose it. If you don't repeat it, you forget it. And I know we've all got stories that we know that maybe we're not telling people that would help them. And, some of these stories are silly, but I want to just use these to get you to thinking about things that you can share with other people to help them, to keep the stories alive, because if you don't retell stories, they die out. All right, good night, Sean. And let's see. So, does anybody have any particular sport they want to hear a sports story about? Usually, I'll let you pick the story, but I'll just narrow it down to a sport. What sport would you like to hear about? And I'll see if I can find a story about that particular sport. And I know I've missed a lot in chat. I like to scroll back sometimes and kind of like highlight some of the things I've missed because I don't intentionally miss it. And y'all put all kind of sports. Maybe I got time to cover them all real quick. I don't know. But Fran said baseball. Okay, baseball. Let's see. First one I came to is called Made in Japan. It says only mom's apple pie is more American than the sport of baseball. After all, baseball was invented by an American and popularized in America. When it comes to players, the best ones are Americans. Uh oh. I didn't say that. They did. If I've offended anyone, I didn't say it. I just reread it. But baseball is truly the all American sport. At least it is supposed to be. Over the years, baseball fever has spread to Japan. The Japanese love baseball and even have their own big time pro league. Though highly competitive, Japanese pro baseball is slightly inferior to the American brand. So you see, at first glance, baseball still seems to be American through and through. But now let's examine professional baseball equipment like uniforms and shoes. Whoops. America is slipping. More and more professional baseball teams in America are using equipment made outside the United States. It all started in 1975 when the Pittsburgh Pirates decided to outfit their team with a full line of Japanese made uniforms. Impressed with the Pirates' uniforms, the Chicago White Sox followed the Bucks' example and awarded their uniform contract to a Japanese firm. In 1980, other teams in the major leagues, including the Baltimore Orioles, started looking toward the East for their equipment. Baseball just isn't as American as it used to be. So that wasn't really a particular story about a baseball player, but that was a baseball story back from 1982. Troy said football. Let me see if I can get a football in real quick. So you're not doing fantasy baseball this year, Fran? Going to overtime. There's no substitute for winning. This is for Troy who won football. The Yale University football squad of 1888 was probably one of the finest gridiron teams ever assembled. They didn't just become famous, they became legendary. Many of football's founding fathers were part of that legendary Yale Bulldog squad. The coach of the team was Walter Camp, the man who helped revolutionize college football and popularize the selection of football All Americans. A famous player on the historic Bulldog team was Amos Alonzo Stagg, who later went on to a glorious college coaching career that spanned more than 50 years. Two more stars of that illustrious Yale team were the immortal William Walter Pudge Heffelfinger and William Paul Corbin, the team captain. Just how good was the Yale team in 1888? Judge for yourself. In 1888, Yale was undefeated and unscored upon. That year, the Bulldogs played Amherst and Williams on successive days and beat both schools. They also trounced Penn and Wesleyan, each for a second time within a three day span. Once during a period of 10 days, the 1888 Bulldogs took on MIT, Stevens, and Penn, all for the second time without losing. If you think winning all those games in such short spans is incredible, you haven't heard anything yet. 9 of Yale's 13 games in 1888 were played without a single substitution. Wow, imagine that. No substitutions. In all, Yale made only 4 substitutions the entire season. Well, you don't see that no more. Yoda. Hello to Yoda. Speaking of green, there's Yoda. Yoda says Hella Finger had a brother named Index Finger. Hey, leave the bad jokes to me, Yoda. But hello to Yoda. Happy Sunday. Yoda's Blessed Life. Hey, if y'all ever want to remember YouTube names like better, write them down. It helps. It's helping me. Yoda's Blessed. And the blessed life is the best life. Yoda's Blessed Life. But shout out to Yoda, my neighbor to the east. Happy Sunday to you. Let's see, D said hockey. So I guess I'll read one more and then I'll say adios to my amigos. Hopefully I can find a hockey. Well, I know this one's about hockey because this is a term, as far as I know, that's only in hockey called the hat trick, the quickest hat trick. Put a 1 in the chat if you know about the quickest hat trick. Put a 2 in the chat if you don't know about the quickest hat trick. Put a 3 in the chat if you don't care. All right, here it goes. Oh, this is a kind of long one, so I'm going to speed read. But the quickest hat trick. Scoring a single goal, and remember this book was written in 1982, so sometimes what they say in here, some of the records have been broken since, but we'll see if it still holds. The quickest hat trick. Scoring a single goal in the National Hockey League is tough enough. One player scoring 3 goals, and for those of you that don't know, that's what a hat trick is scoring 3 goals in one game. One player scoring 3 goals in one game, a hat trick is super tough. But one player scoring 3 goals in a row, a pure hat trick, is phenomenal. But how about 3 goals in a row by one player in a mere 21 seconds? 21 seconds. Impossible. It seems so, but it is not. Bill Masienko of the Chicago Blackhawks proved that on March the 23rd, 1952. So what is that? 74 years ago. Almost 74 years ago. No, it's been 74. 74 years ago this week. That day, the Chicago Blackhawks were in New York to play the Rangers in Madison Square Garden. The crowd was thin because the game was an unimportant one. The final game of the NHL season for both clubs, with neither team figuring in the Stanley Cup playoffs. But the fans who came to the Garden that night were witness to a feat that stands alone in professional hockey. The amazing feat was performed by right winger Bill Masienko, the captain of the Chicago Blackhawks. At the outset, it looked as if the contest was going to be a very dull game. During the first period, nothing exciting occurred. The second period was equally uneventful. Then suddenly, in the third period, people sat up and started to take notice of what was happening down on the ice. Bill Masienko took a pass from teammate Gus Bodner and cut into the Ranger end. He faked out Ranger goalie Lauren Anderson and flipped the puck into the right side of the net. Masienko's goal came at 6:09 of the third period. On the ensuing faceoff, Gus Bodner won the puck and again passed to Masienko. Bill weaved through the Ranger defense, shot, and scored. His second goal came at 6:20 of the third period. That was 2 goals for Masienko in 11 seconds, but the veteran Chicago player wasn't finished yet. The next faceoff came, and again Bodnar won the puck. This time he passed to teammate George G., who relayed the puck to Masienko, who was skating for the Ranger net. With a quick stick fake, Masienko put Ranger goalie Lauren Anderson down on the ice. Then, with a flick of his wrist, Bill sent the puck past the sprawled goalie and into the net for a score. It was now 6:30 of the third period. Bill Masienko had done the impossible. He had scored a hat trick, a pure hat trick, in a mere 21 seconds of play. Man, I can't even hardly say Masienko in 21 seconds. He done scored 3 goals. It was one of the greatest achievements in the history of the NHL. It was also the fastest hat trick on record. On that day, March 23rd, 1952, Bill Masienko's name went down in the record books, and it is doubtful that it ever will be erased. So I don't know that I don't know if that record's been broke or not. I doubt it. I don't know all the hockey records, but I would say that record still stands. I mean, you don't see hat tricks too often, less 3 in a row in 21 seconds. But that's pretty cool. But hopefully after today, maybe you've never heard of Bill Masienko, but after today, you can't say that. And I guess that goes along with what I'm saying today, learning people's names and just saying hello. And all people are important. There's not an unimportant person. We're all made in the image and likeness of God. We have the same Creator, so we're all made at the same factory, if you will. We just landed in different spots, but we came from the same source. And I just want to remind everybody that I love everybody. I don't hate anybody, and it's all because of somebody who died for me. But good night, God bless, and I super appreciate y'all hanged out. I won't count them, but everybody that stopped by, you're not unimportant. I promise you. Not to me, and even more so, not to God. If you'll get into God's word, be mindful that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and you are unique. But God bless y'all, and good night. I'm gonna go and get away from these mosquitoes. But God bless y'all.